Hi, I'm Jessica Baptiste, and I will be presenting the Trade Approach. I'm a current graduate student at Sam Houston State University. So, the Trade Approach has a bit to do with the question that's posed above: leaders, born or made? So, be thinking about that because in the coming slides, you'll see why it's appropriate for this topic. My background in leadership includes a high school ministry that I was the president of called Student Venture. Then I went on to be the president of that same group in college, but it was called Crew in college. And then I was also the president of AWRT, which is American Women in Radio and Television. Then, shortly after college, I became a manager in the retail banking field. Now I'm a leader in the classroom at the secondary and post secondary level. So I've experienced different types of leadership styles, and I also have some of my own. So I know one thing about leadership is that you must have a balance between relationship and being focused on the task that you're accomplishing. But in terms of the trade approach, it's very centered on the leader and the abilities and characteristics that they have. So the trade approach has been explored by many different individuals. As you can see, I have a few listed at the bottom that you can look up in your free time. So why should you study the trade approach? I believe it's very interesting. The trade approach was one of the first systematic attempts to study leadership. Traits were studied to determine what made certain people great leaders in the early 20th century. So from there came the great man theories, which focused on identifying the innate qualities and characteristics possessed by great political, social, and military leaders. The trade approach was challenged, though, later in the century, and people began to see that leadership is a relationship between people in a social situation. But later on, again in the century, there was a resurgence of trade approach with the election of President Obama because he had such a great charismatic leadership style. So I think that studying the trade approach can be used to gain information about what traits you need to cultivate to be perceived as a leader. So there's still a lot to explore with it, and I think it'll be very good for self awareness. So, leadership traits and characteristics. Throughout the years, there have been many studies about leadership traits and characteristics. And as you can see, they have tried to pin down the traits that a leader should have or that they actually do have. You can see that these are all very different lists, but they do have some of the same qualities there. But now we have about 5 different major leadership traits. And those are the ones that I want to talk to you further about today. So, intelligence is the first one on the list. And it means having a strong verbal ability, perceptual ability, and reasoning. So, intelligence is something that is very strong for someone who wants to be a leader. But according to research, it indicates that a leader's intellectual ability should not differ too much from that of their subordinates. And then there's self-confidence, which is the ability to be certain about one's competencies and skills. So it includes a sense of self-esteem and self-assurance and the belief that one can make a difference. So for example of self-confidence, we have Steve Jobs, who he described the devices he wanted to create, and many people said that they weren't possible. But he was very confident and persistent in what he wanted to accomplish, and he was able to do it because of his self confidence. Then there is determinism, the desire to get the job done, and it includes characteristics such as initiative, persistence, dominance, and drive. So people with determination are willing to assert themselves, they're proactive, and they have the capacity to persevere in the face of obstacles. Integrity is also a quality that leaders should have. It's the quality of honesty and trustworthiness. Leaders with integrity inspire confidence in others because they can be trusted to do what they say they're going to do. And then finally, sociability, a leader's inclination to seek out pleasant social relationships. So, leaders who show sociability are friendly, they're outgoing, courteous, tactful, and diplomatic. These are all key traits that a leader should have. So, you can be thinking about, do I have these different qualities? And if you don't, I mean, it's not anything to worry about, but it's something that can be cultivated. Although, with the trait approach, from the beginning, it focused on what a person was born with. So, how can the trait approach be applied as a college student? I think the trait approach can be used for personal awareness and development. By analyzing your own traits, you can gain an idea of your strengths and weaknesses and get a feel for how others see you. Also, the trait assessment can give you a clear picture of who you are and how you fit into different organizational types at college or even in the workforce and beyond. And leaders can try to make changes in what they do or where they work to increase their traits' potential impact. So there's a lot of good things that can come out of this exploring what your personal leadership traits are, and it can only help to improve the traits that you do have. So here's a bit of final closing thoughts and advice to you. I think it's good to continue to study the different types of leadership approaches, not just the trait approach. There's many different approaches out there. And so the trait approach is just one, but the others focus on developing you as a person. And this one just focuses on things that you were born with. But also, I would recommend that you explore your own personality characteristics. And there's many assessments out there that can help you do that. I've listed a few: the Minnesota Multiphasic Personality Inventory, the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator. This one is very popular and used at different career centers, so probably there at your college they have the Myers-Briggs assessment where you can be able to come in and take that. And also the Leadership Trait Questionnaire. And I'm sure just a simple Google search will bring up all kinds of different personality tests that you can look into. I think it's just something fun, and for you to see what type of traits do I have, how can I use this in my different positions on campus, and just move on with that. So I wish you the best of luck in all your endeavors this year and beyond, and thank you for your attention. Here is the reference book that was used throughout the presentation, and I do recommend this book as a great book to study various leadership topics. Again, thank you.